Ladies and gentlemen, Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura recently had an interview go live with CNN where he said some pretty spicy things. And in this video, I'm going to take a look at that article, break down what he said, and talk about who is more famous. Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru Nakamura, or yours truly. International Master Levy, GothamChess, Sacrifice the Rook, Rook B1, Rosman. Now, on a serious note, I'm going to show you some of my YouTube analytics. We're going to talk about what we need to do to keep the game growing, get it more commercial viability, get more sponsorship, get more eyeballs on it, and so on and so forth. So that's the plan. Also, a very, very quick thing I want to say. Over the last few weeks here in October of 2024, I've been telling you about the GothamChess chessboard, which is about to drop in Walmarts. Well, I found out this week it's only in 3% of Walmarts right now. It is actively shipping to those Walmarts and should drop the week of October 28th. So if I haven't said anything about it, I'm sorry. It's because it's not out yet. The link that I put in my description has been clicked over 15,000 times. So if you are interested in it, you should get some notification from Walmart to know when it's live, and I will stop talking about it until it drops. So just don't be confused, okay? Because I've been saying October 15th. It's delayed, like everything in life. Okay, we're going to take a look at this article, and then I'm going to show you some of my YouTube analytics, and we are going to answer the hardest hitting question of all time, which is, am I more famous than Magnus Carlsen? Is Magnus more famous than Hikaru, etc.? Here we go. So I saw a headline, and the headline was basically that, Hikaru thinks what he has done for chess dwarfs anything Magnus Carlsen has done. And I was like, whoa. Ain't no way that's what he said, because that's what you should do nowadays. You see a headline, you should go, that's not... There was more context, right? So let's read this article, and then we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. Okay, I'll try to put timestamps on the video player. Here it is. What has happened online actually dwarfs what Magnus has done. Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura on Chess Streaming Revolution. All right. And yeah, right away I was like, wow, I'm intrigued. Shout out to whoever wrote this, Jamie Barton. So for someone ranked number 2 in the world, playing competitive games of chess sits curiously low on Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura's list of priorities. All right. I look at it as something to do to get away from streaming versus the other way around, he laughed during an interview with CNN Sport. There are better things I can do with my time aside from playing. Nakamura is not your average chess player. More than 20 years after he became the youngest ever American at the time to earn the Grandmaster title at just 15 years old. It's not even impressive. Now they get them at 12. The former child prodigy now considers himself primarily a content creator. With more than 4 million followers across Twitch and YouTube, he is for many the face of online chess. I'm offended by that statement. No, just kidding. Lockdowns and live streams. Nakamura tried his hand at streaming as early as 2017, in case you didn't know, but it wasn't until he failed to qualify for the Candidates Tournament, which decides who will challenge for the World Championship title in November 2019, that his career as a content creator really got going. I had no chance of becoming a world champion. I needed a break. It was that time I actually focused a bit on streaming. He cultivated a loyal but small online fan base, which watched him play casual chess, discuss big matches, and generally hang out. He saw his follower count skyrocket as a result of COVID. We're going to talk about this. I made a big Google Doc. We're going to talk about COVID. By March 2021, he had more than 10 times as many Twitch followers as he had a year prior. There were a lot of people who were stuck at home, a lot of people who were looking for forms of entertainment, whether it's live streams, whether it's watching Netflix or going on YouTube. Now, I don't actually know if this is going to be mentioned here. I try to mention this in basically every interview that I do. I don't know if it's here. Around 2019, 2018, there is one man who was ahead of his time and called things correctly. And I'm not talking about like financial collapse and Michael Berry. I'm talking about Danny Rensch. Like, Danny Rensch is a mildly controversial individual in the world of chess because he's almost like the Dana White, the public-facing headman of chess. You know what I mean? Dana White being, you know, of course, the UFC main boss on camera and so on, and the promoter. Danny Rensch called people in this time and said, I think you should live stream chess. I think there's a huge, opening here. And he probably called Hikaru as well. And I will just add that. And I think that's definitely part of the reason Hikaru took it more seriously. I know it's part of the reason I took it more seriously back in the day, as well as Alexandra Botez. And I always try to give props where it's due. I would like to add there was a lot of people who during the pandemic reflected a lot on their life, nostalgia, all these different things. Many people were drawn to it. It's a game they played as a child and they started flooding in. Chess's success during lockdowns may seem obvious in hindsight, but 36-year-old is quick to remind his peers that it was him who got in at the ground floor. When you look at the whole chess boom that happened, I'm the only top grandmaster who actually got into it. I'm the only one. If you go back to, say, March 2020 or April, there were no chess tournaments going on. None of the other top players got into it. I think this is true. I mean, maybe there was Nepomniachtchi who was doing it in Russian, maybe. Anish Giri and Vidit Gujrathi streamed a little bit for the Indian fan base, so the Indian fan base got to watch a little bit of them. But, none of them had the foresight or thought it could be something real. They simply figured it's complete nonsense and a waste of time, and they were all proven completely wrong. Yeah, well, anyway, we'll talk about this. I mean, like I said, dude, Hikaru's a great interview because he's going to give you some answers and you're either going to sit there and go, damn, he's really speaking facts, or you're going to go, what? What is this guy talking about? And it's going to cause an emotional reaction. Okay, it was a career move that paid off quite literally. Nakamura estimates that he now earns substantially more than most of his rivals. Let's just say the top 10 players in the world, they probably make, I'll push it up a little bit, maybe $400,000 a year. Nakamura, however, estimates that this $400K makes up less than half of his earnings. It's not even close. Most tournaments, when I choose to play them, they're effectively a net loss. For me, I'm essentially losing money by playing them versus staying at home and making YouTube videos. It's true. What Hikaru has started to do now is he makes recaps of his own games, because a lot of people, I think I kind of started this in 2021, but then I like stopped playing as much. And then, you like Alexandra Botez and her sister would live stream their games at tournaments, which I never did until recently. Anna Kramling did that. A lot of people like started to live stream their games at tournaments, which was a unknown phenomenon aside from top level chess. So old game, new audience. Nonetheless, Nakamura maintains his greatest success is bringing chess to a wider audience. I've always kept in my mind more than, say, the financial successes. Even though it's been great, just a chance to bring more chess to more people is very special. While online chess has existed for decades, the past 4.5 years have seen a huge boost in the game's popularity on the internet. The world's top tournaments are now streamed worldwide, and chess.com has more than 185 million users, which is a 324% increase from January 2020, not on January. Okay. I'm not trying to edit the article. TV series like the Queen's Gambit and tournaments like PogChamps, where people competed for large cash prizes, meant that chess is more prominent in popular culture. Yes, this is there. The London's Global Chess League, I figured this is where they spoke, is trying to push games even further. This is about PogChamps. I'm trying to find, this is just, I mean, look, I don't want to read every single thing word for word, but this is about PogChamps and Global Chess League. And I am trying to, all right, here we go. Nakamura's confidence in chess's online revolution is so strong that he believes the achievements of Magnus Carlsen, the game's rock and roll superstar and arguably the greatest player of all time, pale in comparison. I think a lot of people know Magnus's name. He's the world champion. He's the best player in the world. And I think that overall, there's much more interest online than there ever has been. And I don't want to sound arrogant to take all the credit for that, but I think that what has happened online actually dwarfs what Magnus has done. There it is. We reached it. We reached the haymaker. And then he says, I think in general, when I look at what has happened from 2020 to today, I would say myself, along with fellow chess streamer Levy Rosman, actually probably have done a lot more than Magnus overall. Hell yeah, Hikaru, speak the truth, bro. No, I saw that, I was like, yeah, my man. You guys know that meme, bro thinks he's on the team? That's like me right now. I'm like, oh, bro thinks he's on the team. On the defensive, Nakamura has not shied away from controversy when chess is criticized online. Yeah, Elon Musk talked about it. He dismissed the game. Yeah, Elon Musk has tweeted not just about the Hans Niemann cheating scandal, but he also tweets like, chess has no fog of war, no this, no that. What do you think Elon Musk's rating would be, by the way? Like, if Elon Musk played 1,000 chess games, what would be his chess.com rapid rating? I feel like he would get to like 1,400. He seems like a smart guy, but smart and chess don't always correlate. Yeah, so there's some stuff about Elon here. This is Hikaru in the Global Chess League in London. This is very cool. My boy here falling asleep because he actually wanted a photo with Eric Rosen. He didn't want a photo with Hikaru. No, of course, very cool. Shockingly disappointing male to female ratio of fans, I must say. There is one here. She's super brave, but wow. Oh man, you know, and my fan events sometimes look like this, but listen, there are a lot of women who play chess now, a lot. We got to get them more comfortable and into spaces like this and feeling like, you know, they're represented and have a strong footing in the community. All right. And that's it. I think that's it. With most chess players, performances tending to decline after the age of 35, Nakamura is likely approaching the end of his competitive career. I'll compete as long as I'm competitive and as long as I enjoy it. I'll start losing games where it feels like I never had a chance to win the game. If I start, I'll probably quit. His rise to internet stardom has gone hand in hand with increasing popularity of the game, and the American is determined that when he does decide his playing days are over, he can continue to take chess to new audiences. It's been a wild ride, he said. I think it's mostly about trying to come up with new ideas, new events that the fans can get into. Whether it's possible or not, who knows? Now, I am now going to unpack everything he said, and I'm going to tell you my perspective on everything, and I'm going to show you Hikaru's perspective. So, let's not forget, we go back to, like, up here. Hikaru was a chess player, professional chess player his entire life. In the last 4 years, Hikaru's 36, he's turning 37 this year. That's ancient. I'm just kidding. But like, he lived 30 years without chess content creation. He knows everything the top players have to go through if they're not the world champion. Yes, you make a lot of money, but name me another sport where you could be top 5 in the world and your net earnings are like $200,000. Now, every time I talk about this, people are like, well, why are you pocket watching? 200K is still a lot of money. Yeah, like, look, you could argue people who play soccer or football, baseball, basketball, you look at these contracts, they're making $40 million a year. They're making that money because of the TV deal, because the TV is where the money is made, and ticketing. And chess doesn't have either of those things. They've never had a TV deal, and it's really hard to play chess in a live arena. I don't really think it would ever work. So, because chess is missing two absolutely massive components, not to mention the fact that there is no incumbent big sponsor, like every other, you know, has a soda, watch company, clothing brand, bank partner, financial partner, like whatever. Yeah, of course, like chess has a long way to go. So he knows the struggles. And, you know, for me, I was never a professional player, but I was a professional coach. So from 2014 to 2020 pandemic, I ran my own chess program in New York. I had hundreds of students and, you know, probably privately, I had like 15 students who I would give private lessons to. We would go to tournaments. That was my job. That was my life. In case you didn't know that's what I did. And when the pandemic started, that's when I switched everything online because it was really hard to do Zoom classes with kids who are already doing their entire class and school on Zoom. Now, let's talk about all this. Let's talk about everything he said. So, who grew chess? Now, in case you don't know this, there were 3 spikes that chess had, okay? And if you read anything on Reddit or anything anywhere else, they don't know what they're talking about. I am telling you, as over the last 3 to 4 years, I am probably the most reliable source for YouTube analytics because I have a bird's eye view. I have been lucky. I have been blessed with the best community on earth. You guys, even the ones that spam comments and get to the top by writing memes, you're all wonderful. I see everything. I have studied the chess YouTube ecosystem and content ecosystem for 4 years. I'm always up to date on who's a new creator, who's doing what, right? And yeah, and you can trust me, okay? If you see some person writing on Reddit like, these chess content creators didn't help grow the game, they were just beneficiary. They don't know what they're talking about. Like, no. I'll tell you right now, okay? There were 3 spikes, okay? Queen's Gambit was the first one. When Netflix puts out a show about a board game and you happen to play that board game, there are going to be effects. And in October of 2020, the Queen's Gambit dropped. My 48-hour window of views went from 100,000 to 1 million. That happened because somebody would be here and watching the Queen's Gambit trailer, and then on the right side of their screen, over here, on the right side, which I'm trying to click, but Google is not working, was my video how to play the Queen's Gambit, which I put out August. I didn't know the Queen's Gambit was going to happen, but I was making content in 2020 because it was COVID. Remember the days where we would like sneak outside double masked and like go to the grocery store? I mean, not everybody did that, but like, yeah, that was crazy. That was an insane period, you know? We all thought we would die if we got it. Like that was nuts. Everybody was at home. So that was the natural progression. Then people would watch my Queen's Gambit video and then they would go watch something else. And this is the part where this is the part of my life I'm very proud of. For about a year and a half, every day I researched what chess content is available and what exists and I can improve on or doesn't exist at all. I made 2 videos a day and live streamed about 4 to 5 hours, basically from like June 2020 to like late 2021. That was my whole life. That was my whole life. I wanted people who watched the Queen's Gambit to have a warm welcome into chess. That's what I wanted. And I would argue that I succeeded. Around that time, I was doing commentary on Hikaru's channel. Then I broke off and started doing my own thing. So this was a crazy period. Now, this lasted until September 2022. August of 2022, all right, August 2022 was the lowest recorded month of chess watching since Queen's Gambit came out. It was a descending slope, okay? Then on September 4th, Magnus Carlsen and Hans Niemann played in St. Louis, and on September 5th, Magnus Carlsen withdrew from the tournament. That set off a little bomb. Like, that was insane. Elon Musk tweeted this conspiracy theory that you can shove something up yourself and cheat at chess, and then he actually deleted the tweet, which I don't know how many tweets Elon Musk deletes, but he deleted that one. And that was nuts because and when I say every international news network, I mean dozens of countries. Like, I saw it in Chinese. I saw it in Europe. I saw it like all over the world. People thought it was like a borderline, like a real thing. And it was getting a lot of coverage. And this was a huge spike. And then that carried over into a massive explosion in 2023. This is the one nobody knows about because this wasn't in the news. In January of 2023, there was a collision of things. Number one, there was chess boxing. You guys remember this? Chess boxing? All right. Ludwig, one of the coolest events I've ever been a part of. You know, like this was crazy. This whole stage and, you know, being a part of the commentary here, trying to get it exactly on us. Are we on camera here? If I click that, did I just break? Is the whole computer going to crash? Okay, whatever. Before it breaks, I'm going to X out. Anyway, that was really fun. And then there was World Rapid and Blitz Championships. There was Hikaru Magnus Speeches Championship. What people don't know, it took me a year and a half around these times to go from 1 to 2 million subscribers. I got 2 to 3 in 40 days. In January of 2023, swipe up content, TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, gave me 300 million views in a month. 10 million views a day. A day. That was nuts. I've never seen a time like that. And now, October 2024, we are in this period from here to here. We are just slowly bleeding chess players, right? And we need our next spike. But things are in place. 2025 is going to be a crazy year. There's the Netflix Magnus Hans episode. Then, I don't know how many of you follow, movies and production studios. A24 bought rights to Magnus Hans. And it's being written by Ben Mesrick, the guy who wrote Dumb Money and The Social Network. So that's going to be crazy. That might be another huge spike. You know what I mean? So chess kind of comes in waves. Now, what is my role? My role as a content creator was to capture people, not physically, and convince them chess is worth playing and worth sticking around, and that the accessibility portion of it is different than they remembered in their childhood, right? That's the most important thing. Now I'm going to get into everything else, but I hope you understand the difference between Magnus, Hikaru, and me. Magnus is Magnus, and we're going to talk about what Hikaru said in a second. So Magnus is Magnus. Hikaru is a mix of a top player and now a content creator, and I'm pure content. I am a strong enough player that I can take the moves that these people play and spread them to the 99% of the audience. There is the 1% of the audience that I am better than, but really not captivating enough to go deep into the analysis. I sometimes skip variations in my recaps because I know more than 95% of you don't care and won't understand, and it's not worth you understanding. It's way too detailed. But I want to cover things like a sports recap show, and I would like to think I do a good job. Most of the criticism that I receive is I'm clickbaity, I don't analyze deep enough, and I'm ugly. And look, 2 of those 3 things are true. And it's up to you to decide which they are. But there's a lot of chess content creators that do cater to a more advanced audience, but that's not going to be easy to get people into the game, right? And that's the path that I chose. And we all do different things. Now, back to this, okay? India has its own ecosystem. They have chess-based India. They have Sagar Shah, Amruta, Mokal. They have like the team there, and they do a really, really good job. They have their own Magnus, meaning they have an icon. Vishy Anand could take 3 breaths of air while taking a walk, and it will make news. Like, this man is a legend, and he is going to grow chess just from existing and doing his thing. And by the way, Samay Reina during the pandemic also really, really helped to popularize chess. He's a comedian. He's also a very, very strong chess player. So then you kind of ask, like, about other content creators. You've got Anna Kramling, you have the Botez sisters. Like, whoever you enjoy as a chess content creator they benefit from the fact that all these other folks exist, including a little bit me, a little bit. Like, you come in through me, or you come in from a Hikaru video or a Magnus or whatever, and then you find your way to another content creator. Could your first entry into chess be via Kramling, Botez, Rosen, Naroditsky? The list goes on and on. If I didn't name your favorite content creator, sorry, there's a lot of them. Yes, of course. I'm not saying it's not possible, but there is kind of a gap on YouTube, right? And we're going to talk about it. Like, this is a very interesting thing. I have, between YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch, and Twitter and whatever, like almost 11 million followers. I have more followers on social media than Hikaru and Magnus combined. Isn't that a flex? You know how many views I have in total? 4 billion. 4 billion on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. That's crazy. That is spreading the message of chess to a lot of people. But do you know how famous Magnus is? and Hikaru, I think, has like slightly north of 5 million. This is where it gets interesting. So Hikaru makes a point that in terms of spreading the popularity of chess, Magnus has not done anywhere near as much as me and Hikaru. And it's kind of true, but Magnus doesn't have to. Magnus is so famous by existing and winning. We are lucky he has no aspirations and no insane social media team that wants him to have 10 million followers on every platform. He's not particularly interested in that. I'm going to give you 3 examples. The first one is, by just simply existing and winning tournaments, Magnus is able to secure a $10 million investment with Jan-Henrik Büttner for freestyle chess. Jan-Henrik is a German entrepreneur, billionaire, who owns a resort in Germany called Weissenhaus, where he's hosted, the G7, for example. And he got an interest in chess, met with Magnus, and after many, many, many meetings, they launched freestyle chess, and they're going to try to put on like kind of an auxiliary chess tour and pour a bunch of money into it and crush and so on and so forth. Cool, but that's what Magnus, like, he doesn't need the social media followers. I'm going to give you 2 more examples. 2 times I was in places where Magnus Carlsen was. Once was in Toronto, and we got in the elevator together. We were going to the 10th floor of the hotel to do an interview. Okay? Elevator doors open at the lobby. In walks a businessman, or maybe just a handsome guy in a suit who I am, stereotyping as a businessman. It's him, Magnus, me, standing there. The guy turns to Magnus and goes, "Hey, Magnus, I just want to say I'm a big fan." And Magnus goes, yeah, thanks. And they shake hands. And I'm standing there like, okay, one of 2 things happen. The guy knows me, but is not a fan of me, or he has no idea who I am. And he probably just didn't know who I was. And that was really funny. But then when I was in Paris, France, in September of 2024, I just did a recording with Magnus. You guys are actually going to see it. It's going to be out on the YouTube channel in a few days, believe it or not. I get in the Uber to go to Charles de Gaulle. And I'm driving. My cab driver, a Tunisian guy, we got to talking a little bit, like, a very chatty, nice guy. We were talking about the Olympics and the impact it had on cab drivers. And we're driving, and he turns around and he goes, "Hey, my brother, I don't mean to bother you. I saw when I was picking you up, I saw a guy coming. Was that Magnus Carlsen?" And I was like, "What the?" It's like, "Yeah, how'd you know that?" He was like, "Oh, I'm like, "You play chess?" He's like, No, I don't play any chess, but brother, he's a genius." Like, this Tunisian guy, like, didn't play chess at all. And he knew who Magnus was. Like, he just knew. So this is the impact, right? We all do different things. Magnus is probably 5 to 10 times as famous as me. Like, it's so funny being in the same place. Like, I get recognized. I walked my dog this morning on the street, and a guy was walking to work. He was like, "Are you GothamChess?" I never in my wildest dreams could have imagined that I would have gone from being a chess teacher in New York City to, like, recognized by people and bringing people together and spreading the love of the game to people. And that's super cool because I still feel like a totally random dude. My imposter syndrome is through the roof. But these guys, Magnus and Hikaru, they are elite players. They are known for playing. They don't have to do these interviews. They don't have to do these things. They just play and people know who they are. Hikaru has taken a bigger step to popularizing the game through live streams. He streams 100, 150 hours a month. That is super cool. He is absolutely right. He's the only top player that dedicated to that craft. Granted, he gets paid for it, and that's great. That's his, like, basically his full-time job. But he is also getting more people into the game by being a player and a content creator. And you got Magnus, who on the surface did not do as much to popularize the game via social network, but probably like 8 to 10% of our content is about Magnus. I even looked, I'm telling you right now from my YouTube dashboard, it's maybe something like 8 to 9%. It's heavily skewed, I think, by like YouTube shorts, because it's very easy to do like a bunch of YouTube shorts about Magnus. Yeah, he's a chess icon. Videos about Magnus do 2 times better than any other video. So we all serve a role, and and Hikaru gave this interview, and it was very frank, it was very to the point, it was very cool, and now we're all going to be talking about it, breaking it down. I think we all serve a role, the way Chess-Based India, Samay Reina, Vishy Anand serve a role, the way everybody else that you watch to keep an interest in chess serves a role, and we're not done. The chess world is not anywhere close to being done, all right? We got everything from this dropping in Walmarts to me writing a second book that might have just been a leak. I'm writing a second book and actually a third one. I'm going to be writing 2 more books. We got epic stuff coming on Netflix. We have a movie coming out about chess. Chess is not done. And I am going to work very, very hard over the next 5 to 7 years to build as many cool chess projects as I can for people to enjoy. Chess is one of the only activities that can be enjoyed by 3 to 4 generations of people on YouTube together. I have people come up to me at fan events with their kids, with their grandkids, telling me how they reconnected with loved ones, with grandparents and parents and so on, and it's so cool. It is so unique. So we can debate about who's had more of an impact and who's more famous, but ultimately it is a good debate to have because chess is growing, and yeah, little update about the chess world for all of you. So that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed. Get out of here.